As the recording starts, usually a little box jumps up somewhere on your screen. You have to click OK or got it or something. And then get your chair. Let's see, spotlight. And Janona and Christine, you both have your cameras off, which again is fine if you're in your pajamas, you don't want to be seen, that's totally fine. But if you do want your camera on, at the bottom corner, it usually says start video. Yeah, so you can do that if you want to. And we begin. So sitting, comfortable chair. Sit towards the front edge of your chair. What that does for us immediately is start to train a very important layer of the body, the pelvis, spinal column, rib cage, up through the neck and the skull, the axial skeleton, and all the muscles that are involved there. So that chassis, the pelvis, spine, ribs, neck, head. And then we have the appendicular part of the body, which is, scapula and arms and leg bones and legs down through the feet, down through the hands. So sitting meditation, whether on a chair, or on a cushion, or however, is quite valuable in that it trains this zhong-zheng, as they call it in Taoist practice, your central upright. It also gives us the opportunity to practice chun-wan, which is relaxing and releasing everything throughout the body. And this is what is unique to Taoist practice and what makes it, in my view, the best. It's the best way of using this vehicle in general, and it also is what allows people with different issues going on to sort of bypass some of those issues and retain function. Is the fact that this emphasis on using the hydraulic system rather than a bunch of tension and force and effort, it's this emphasis on loosening everything.
Why is he down here with me?
And having this sort of empty quality through the body that gives it a lightness. So chun-wan is softening and sinking, letting what can sink. That doesn't mean your body loses its spaciousness. In fact, the opposite happens, especially as you practice more and more. You feel, as you relax, a sort of levity, a buoyancy, a lightness, because tension constricts and shortens. So the body is being shortened and constricted, so there's less room inside. And then when we relax, the opposite happens, a sort of plumping and opening up. And that light quality is what's called Qing Ling. So zhong-zheng, central upright. Chun-wan, relax and release everything. And feel that quality of a little bit lighter, a little bit easier. That's Qing Ling. Now breathe in through the nose, long, smooth, and full. Feel the body expand. Hold it full. Feel that sort of stretching open from the inside. Then exhale. Feel that softening, that relaxing, that releasing. Hold empty. Inhale. Filling up, expanding, and opening from the inside. And then exhale. Relaxing, releasing, emptying. Let's take 5 more breaths. You could do 5 minutes or 50 minutes of this, and it would all be valuable. But this idea of the breath helping us find that release of what is extra, that opening up of places that are closed. There's 26 muscles of respiration, and we want all of them tuned. All of them online, all of them working together with every breath. And this also is training the mind. The mind cannot be distracted thinking of other people, places, things, concerns, and be truly breathing with this level of thoroughness. So it's lovely in that sense that it helps settle the E or the attention. Now we add on top of this the outer body movement. So slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, lift the chest, lift the chin. So you're arching that axial skeleton and you're drawing back with the appendicular or the shoulder blades and arms. And then slide your hands forward. You got to soften the scapula, soften the arms, let them go long, hollow the chest and drop the head. So you're rounding the spine. And then slide the hands back, elbows back, scapula back, chest up, chin up, look way up. That's with the inhale, and then exhale and rounding and hollowing and straighten through the arms. Drop the head. Let's just do this 3 more times. The idea that a certain and very important layer of a healthy body is freedom of movement through the entire range of motion of every joint, of every muscle, every layer of tissue. So we're kind of like cleaning the sponge. We're assisting the lymphatic propulsion, so the lymph system. We're helping to clean the body by doing these movements. We're helping to tune up the brain and body connection by doing these movements. We're tuning in and connecting. Now, find this neutral position, just sitting right in the middle, and we do the rotational movement. Left hand forward past the knee, right hand elbow pull back, turn to your right. And then switch, come back to center, and right hand forward, left elbow back, turn. And then back to center and turn. And just do this a few more times each way, and think again about freedom of movement between these ranges. So the end position is important, but so too is the smooth transition. And smooth transition. One more each way. And middle. Arms hang, lateral, sideways. So arching, sideways. Lift your left wrist, your left foot, and kind of teeter almost at the edge of the chair, and then come back, middle, and then lean. The right wrist up. This allows us a little more freedom to tip, right? Where this, when it's hanging down, it kind of pulls right here. So this movement here just allows us a little more freedom. And then we're back to the middle and we lean. So falling is a big part of what everybody, every human being comes to fear over time, right? So as we get older, falls become the big problem. And so the question becomes, how do we mitigate that risk? And the Taoist viewpoint on that is not about more and more grabbing, holding, and gripping to create stability. Right? Let's come back to center and stay in center. It's the opposite. It's total freedom of movement in all directions of all parts that give us adaptability to retain our equilibrium and our balance. Now, the scapula, very important, up on our back here. A lot of muscles passing through, tying in and connecting. So we need to clear out what's stuck up here. So spread the shoulders apart and bring the arms a little forward. This looks like I'm shrugging up, but I haven't yet. It's forward. And this area has to hollow. Then up, back, squeezing back. So now really open all this space and squish all that back musculature, kind of like a rag being squeezed, right? And then melt the shoulder blades down and just pause for a moment in neutral. So the net result of this should be, looser. And then we do it again. Forward, up, back, down, and neutral. Even looser. And we do it again. In the beginning, just executing this movement is difficult for the brain. The brain hasn't done it, so it's trying to innervate or connect the nerves and be able to make the command happen. But over time, it becomes very natural. One more. And then we reverse. Back and up, forward, down, under, back and up, over top, forward, down, under, up, over, under, up, over. One more. And down. And then to really just open up this whole junction here, bend the elbows and we go out and up. Way up. And see this lifting, this opening of the ribs and chest area. And then down. And then in front, squeeze. Touch elbows together. And that opens the back. And then down. And then out and up. And in. And then the second exercise, straight back, right, behind, back, then down with the elbows, forward with the elbows, the hands just go right over the shoulders, and then up with the elbows, and let this lift the chest and somewhat arch the back. So really go for it. Open all that space, and then forward, down, and back. So tension in the scapula, shoulders, and upper back all combine to create that hump in our back that develops over time. And so opening up these mechanisms here are what allow us to keep that from happening. You got to make sure it's all spacious, fluid, and free. Down. Now we go elbows out, left hand high, right hand low, cross and bear hug. Wrap around and really let this close and hollow the front of you. And then go elbows straight out to the side and feel that opening, that broadening inside here. And then switch, which is above and below, and closing. And then opening and closing. Opening, closing. Open. Elbows down, arms hang loose. Now we'll just get the legs, freedom of movement. Bring your left knee up, left heel kind of in, and then push away, fully straighten. And notice my leg went down. I'm not trying to force it up in the air at all. All we're looking for is freedom of movement of all the leg bones and tissue. So load, push, load, down. Load, push, load, down. Again, push, back, down, loose, free, hydraulic, down, loose, and down. Now, straighten your right leg, point the foot, flex the foot, point, flex. Now, tilt the foot a little in, out, in, out, in, out, and circle, reverse circle, and down. Switch feet, point, flex. Freedom of movement of that whole mechanism. And then tilt the foot in, out, in, out. And circle. Reverse. And scoot forward to that front edge of the chair. Step a little wider apart. Lift your toes and turn. So now your thighs fall in, your knees fall in, your toes point in. That closes the quad. And then open. Knees out, toes out. And then in. Knees in, toes in. And just note, the movement is happening in this junction here, the quad. So this is a very important space in the body, as this is a very important space. So if you want to simplify, as I was discussing at the beginning of pelvis, spine, right, the axial skeleton, and then the appendicular skeleton, but almost like the infrastructure underneath that, let's go ahead back to the middle, are these 5 main spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this middle. So you can kind of picture that idea that as we loosen everything up, then it's these spaces that allow freedom of movement, balance, agility, and you can only have those if you're relaxed and freedom of movement has been cultivated. And so then you have this different kind of body. If you've ever seen people do Tai Chi, they move as if they're floating. Well, the reason is because they kind of are. They've got this different state of the body that, again, when we're stuck in our meat and bone, right, either you move like this or you know someone who moves sort of like everything's stuck. So there's no real estate inside that they've cultivated. And so that's Taoist movement, just simplify. Space, space, and space. And this is the middle dantian. This is like the main reservoir here. So now, slide your feet back, and we're going to use all those spaces to stand up. So try to use as little effort as possible. So you fold at that hip space, right? And then we just pour ourselves forward. So now the weight is going down through the legs, and then just push through the earth and stand tall. Tendency is when we come up like this, everybody goes, okay, and they do something like this. They tense up here to think, thinking they need to. Drop that completely. So just be as absolutely loose as you possibly can. And then from this hip space, hinge. Notice I have not bent my knees yet, but I've pushed the butt behind the ankles and allowed this looseness to counterweight. And then when I fold at this crease, the knees bend. So I'm not pushing my knees, I'm sinking through the quad and finding the chair. So let's do 3 more of those and just see if you can get it to be smooth as butter. They say the primary direction is down, meaning we relax, and that aspect of tension that can be held in the body goes out of the body, and that's what's like plugging us into the ground. So when you come forward out of the chair, allow for the downness, the release down, and stand up. Now, don't sit in the chair, but fold and sink. Don't sit the butt on the chair, but sit as if you're going to, and see if you can maybe touch the ankles, touch the feet, touch the floor, and then push through the earth and rise nice and tall. And make sure when you're doing this, there's a big component of the butt sitting, because that's what opens the back. That combination of sinking the tail while also dangling the arms does what's called bowing. It bows the back open, and it's something the spine wants. It's something the spine needs, is to bow and then unbow when you stand back up. All right. Now we're standing, and we'll do this Qigong movement called Sink Qi Wash Organ. So first, just stand on your feet, and now notice that you could lean a little bit forward. Notice how when I lean forward, I'm not bending at all. So keep this zhong through the whole body, and just go a little bit into the toes, and then back to middle, and then be careful with this one, but just go a little bit back to your heels. And it's really from this belly, from the middle of the belly, you go back to the heels. And you go to the toes. So find that range, that movement. And be as relaxed as possible. Just notice you don't need tension to move the body. In fact, that gets in the way. Now add to this, as you go to your toes, float your arms forward but not up. And then rock back towards the heels and let those arms swing a little bit behind. And then forward. Back. One more time, forward. Now, we go back. Stay a little bit in the heels and open. So from this junction up here, this space, open the whole arm and float out. So we're a little bit in the heels, right? We're opening, and notice how my arms are not being cranked back, which kinks the hoses, but they're a little bit behind, a little bit. So that's the Tai Chi Qigong understanding of where the mechanism wants to go. And then rock to your toes and sweep the arms around long and out in front. So train this elasticity as if your fingers are being pulled that way. And then soften and let the elbows bend like you're receiving something. Hands come as if bringing in the mouth, past the mouth, you're in your heels. And then settle to the middle of the feet, hands settle to the middle. And then elbows forward as you stick the butt back a little, like we did our squat. So this hollows the front, opens the back, and then we sink the butt and release the arms soft and long. That's the Tai Chi squat, and then push through the earth and stand back to the middle. So we've just gone through all the basic mechanisms and sort of cleaned off a layer. Let's do it again. We go heels, open and lift. Eventually that's one fluid gesture. Second fluid gesture, tip to the toes, sweep around and reach out through the tips of the fingers. Third gesture, heels, bringing hands in and down. So eventually that's like one fluid gesture. There's like a pooling moment here. Then the fourth gesture is this hollowing the front, elbows flare a little bit, hips hinge back a little bit, and then sink the booty. This is where the main movement comes from, and everything is arranged around it. And you release the arms loose, and then when you come up, you keep that loose quality. So you just push through the earth, stackety stack, stack the body back to standing tall. Twice more. Rock back, open and lift. So this is fluid. This would go with an inhale. Exhale. Quality of inhale. Exhale. Cooling, hollowing, and through. Push through the earth. Right. And in a formal setting, we do this 9 times, 18 times. Sometimes we're just doing 5, 4. The intention of this class is to give you tools that you can then play with on your own. So as you learn these movements, you can do more reps. You can really take your time with them. But it's like a toolkit. And then we're back stand. Wing, roll, fold over top. It's called shogun, closing gesture. We settle everything back to this middle space, this middle dantian. And then hands cross and come down. Now we do our Tai Chi movements. So these come from Yang Tai Chi, which is a family and a style. So forward and then up, wrists are loose. Then this little switcheroo at the top, and as if painting with the fingertips, down and back. And then there's a down quality here. That's really important. So it's not up by shortening all the different relationships. It's by dropping and going longer and looser and staying with that long and loose quality. And then there's this natural shwen meaning like a river, this natural change that happens at the end point, right? So we're coming up and then down. It's just a very important part of Taoist movement is when you get rid of that harsh tension, movements start to look very much like things you see in nature, like fish tails moving, and bird wings moving, and rivers flowing, and the way roots arrange themselves. And so we're training back to that natural state of natural and loose. And it turns out it's very rejuvenative and healing to do this. Now scoop the hands in front and we open. And we let that shwen quality go through, and then we sweep down, right? So it's called the crane opening its wings. Natural inhale and natural exhale. And embracing the moon. We go wings. Now your right hand turns palm up. As it folds over top, left hand sweeping under. And we go low, high, and then together, apart, and around. So once you get this basic here, see if you can work on the timing at the arrival times, that neither hand or arm is winning the race, that they're both connected the whole time. They're two parts of a whole. And that gives us a great experience of what more complicated Tai Chi is asking of the brain. The brain has to be tracking. No room for distraction. And the slowness gives a lot of opportunity to connect when we come down. Hands come up, elbows go straight back, turn the palms over. Now, the important part with the Tai Chi push is that it's not flat, but it's also not bent. It's this in-between state, the Tai Chi hand during the push. So push, get all the way to the end, extend, let the scapula wrap around, let the arms go long and wrap around, and then draw straight back. Let this open. Push. Full extend. Wrap. Draw. Two more. Push. Draw. So there's a certain strength that we can have with this mechanism that comes not from harder muscles, but rather from more pliable and free moving, so that it has a spring loadedness, right? Where a lot of times things are stuck. And so this movement, we're trying to free up everything that's stuck so that we can issue power through the mechanism. Now, left hand push. As that finishes pushing, it should turn your body a little bit right through your middle pivot, which is belly, low back, and quad. So feel that. then turn, turn, and go one draw, one push. Feel those mechanisms be induced to move. Turn the hands, one draw, one push. So this should induce that movement. Now we're going to add one thing that we haven't done. I don't think anyone has done this one. It's called the lion plays with the ball. So now, over the top of a ball, under the bottom of the ball, roll that hand down to the bottom of the ball, this hand over to the top, and roll. So just by adding this different element, it creates different shenfa through the whole body, different mechanism movements, right? Over and under. Stay far away as you come under, stay close as you come up to the top, and then you get this drawing over and under. And then this one is far away as it scoops to the bottom, this one comes up over top, over. And you can see in my body, this is a hallmark of the Taoist movement. I'm not trying to stand straight and do this. The looseness allows this different kind of balance and agility and mobility, right? So this hollow space in here and this open functioning back, right? The lion plays with the ball. Reverse, so draw back as you go out under. And then this hand comes up to the top, this hand goes down below, and then simultaneous, one back, one forward, one up, one under, and, right? Lion plays with the ball. So by being soft and thorough, all these natural changes happen through your torso. Stay low all the way out, stay high all the way back. Then they change high and low, and then it's low, high. They change. Low, high. And back. So that's the lion plays with the ball. And we close. So this hallmark of Tai Chi and Qigong, that by doing Shen Fa, the Qi comes out to play, it wanders, it explores, and then we return it to the nest. We train ourselves to be able to rest and become still, recharge. And then hands cross and down. 2 legs. We change to the right leg. Left leg becomes empty. Change to the left leg. Right leg becomes empty. Remember the space. The interior space here is where we want to be finding that movement. That way our zhong stays intact. And also we want to be soft in the legs rather than locking the leg to find stability. Instead, look for soft, pliable springiness as your support system. Now, from that same quad and belly and low back, so that middle mechanism, turn. So you're in the right leg, turn, and the whole body should turn a little bit with it, and just sweep the hands across that way. Stay loose, stay low. Now, change your weight to your left leg. Turn from your middle pivot, and that'll start the process of bringing those hands, and then sweep them through. And then the hands turn. And then we shift and turn and brush and sweep. And the hands turn. We shift and turn and brush and sweep. The bear, washing paws. And again, you want this movement to be alive, to be able to change. So it's not a repeat, repeat, repeat. Each round could, should loosen something up in the mechanism so that the hands travel through a little bit more of the space. And yet, even as you start to go for the bear, swirls the string where the hand goes far away and in close and then far away. I shouldn't feel like I'm falling forward. Instead, I'm super grounded and pliable, loose. So that softness gives us groundedness and functionality, mobility. Now the bear swirling the stream, that loose, spacious quality allows us to very easily float the hand up. So it's the bear swats the jumping fish. So it's brush knee and swat. Then down the hand goes, this one floats up and we go shift and turn and brush and swat. And then down. And then shift and turn and brush and swat. Change. Continue. Now the higher jumping fish. So you just allow that loose, pliable arm to travel a little different path, a little higher. But it should not require more effort. It's more looseness, more pliability, more levity. And finally, the highest jumping fish where we reach, we straighten the legs, we go as high as possible to train. Can you reach as high as possible and yet not uproot yourself? And then just soft and loose down through. And then reach as high as you can, cross, and then soft through all joints of the body, that settling piece, right? You can see my body doing here. This, right? And then this rising turn. And then sink. One more. Rise. So we're just training for space. We're buying real estate. Down. Now, left hand dipped in the water over here. Right arm wing, roll, fold. So this is now loaded. Remember the push position we talked about. Now it's shift and turn, brush knee, and push. Now let the arms go, 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 go. The right arm comes down. It doesn't cut across. It stays long and dips into the water. This arm roll, fold. Now we're ready for brush, push. Now long through the limbs. Then they return to their stored position. And now we're ready to go shifting, turning, brush, knee, push. They go long, long, long. And then they reload. And then shift and turn, brush and push. Long. And return. Slowly. So as you learn the choreography, then you want to start looking for those subtle aspects of Schwen, of this totally soft, loose, where you're relaxing and feeling how that grounds you, and the rest of your body is just pliable, spacious. Now, stay on your left side. Right foot empty, step it a little behind you, toes turned out. Change your weight into that right leg. 100, 0. Find this little toe touch. This hand dip down. This hand, sink the elbow right into position, fingers point straight up. So this hand, arm position with an empty foot. Now keep the hands as they are, bring the left foot back, place it on the ground, no body weight, and then we change. So the weight goes into the left leg, left hand descend, right elbow bend, right foot so empty that it can just float and touch the ground, very light. Hands stay the same, foot comes back. Now all together, change the weight as the hands do their thing. And they arrive, boom, together. Foot comes back, nothing changes, and then position. Again, foot back, nothing changes, and then everything together. Now, staying in this position, this foot empty, option one, just lift the toe off the ground. Can you do that? If that's possible, then try a little bit or more, but foot loose. And then go down and touch the toe and do that a couple of times to whatever your maximum is. That lift and lower. You can see my pelvis spine is undisturbed by this lifting and lowering, only because this is so empty and loose, because this is so full. So this is the real determiner of being able to execute this position. Let's switch legs. Bring that foot back. Change, left hand down, right hand up, foot out in front. Now can you do just the foot? Feel it be loose. If you can get that loose, then some lift somewhere along this spectrum and touch. One full, 3 empty, loose. At first, that looseness feels less stable, so expect that. Go ahead and let's flow through them now. Change the weight. So the looseness is letting go of what you've become accustomed to using for your stability, which is bracing. Everyone's doing it, right? So by letting go of bracing, you're going to feel a little whoa, but over time you find the system underneath that's just, it's such a wonderful change to make, where just light and easy. Now, wash your paw. Left hand, sweep the leg, turn to vapor, raise up. Now it's a cloud in the sky. This hand is in the lake, and we go shift, turn, cloud, and lake. Then it's rain down, vapor up, and shift, turn, cloud, lake, vapor up, rain down, and shift, turn, cloud, lake, vapor, rain, and up and now add, as you vapor and rain on this side, bring left foot in, out. So that's another training of empty. It's empty in and empty out. And then we change leg, turn from the middle pivot, cloud, leg. Now here, as you're vapor and raining, get that right leg to go in and out. Then change and turn. As the hands exchange, the left leg in, the left leg out, change. Arms and foot, foot and we're training a deep chassis of strength that can only be accessed by first softening the outer excess activity that's going on. And also there's hypervigilant muscles in the body that are overworking, but there's also collapsed areas, what we would call weak, right? It's like there's been a collapse, and this is promoting juice flow, nerve flow, so that we get this plump, usable body back, rather than it being a compilation of hard and collapsed all over. We're trying to unify everything in a softness and then settle back to middle. Now we go left hand under, right hand over, and we're going out with this hand and across with this hand, right? So combine those two. And back. Now, if we take that movement and turn it on a slight diagonal, now this hand, instead of going flat, goes from low to high, right? And the palm is facing up the whole way. See this right here, right? So this position of the hand. So it's not the back of the hand, it's this, all the way up. And this hand goes down, right? And notice I'm long, I'm fully extended. I'm not, but I'm also not stuck in. So allow that space. And then just return along those two tracks to do it again. Passing by, the hands actually pass by each other. Stroking the wild horse's mane. Now from this shape, turn out, turn up. Now this sweeps down as this raises up, embrace the moon. And then we go diagonal and diagonal. And then turn both palms, embrace the moon. Now as you embrace the moon, shift right, turn right. Now as you shift left, turn left, stroke wild horse's mane. Turn both palms and reverse. Gather, and then stroke wild horse's mane. Turn both palms. Reverse. Stroke. Reverse. Now, right hand down, left hand turn. Walk. Walk. And then put right hand under, left hand over, one time parallel to the floor. And then take that on the diagonal track. And then diagonal track into embrace the moon. So it's extend, turn out, turn up, one down, one up, one under, one over, shift into that left leg and turn. And now it's stroke wild horse's mane as you shift and turn right. Turn both palms, shift back. One under, one over. Stroke wild horse's mane. Now, stay in your right leg, bring left hand under, right hand over, gather. Stay in your right leg, turn more to your right. So turn so that you're ready to unleash this way. Right? And then we stay in the left leg, turn more right at that quad, and sweep under and over and gather. And then we go the other way. Stay in your right leg, turn at the quad that little bit, and scoop and gather. And then scoop, gather. One more. Each side. Right, so the feet are glued to the ground, but I'm doing all this changing of what's happening through all the different relationships. So we're kind of pulling and tugging and torquing and opening and closing and twisting, and right, and the feet are just kind of hanging out. And so that's changing the relationship between everything to have this space. So it starts to feel kind of like when you're in the ocean or you're in water and you go, oh, I feel supported by water. the idea is as we do more and more Tai Chi, we get more and more of that feeling all the time because we have a liquid hydraulic system that we can float inside of our skin sac, right? So now from standing, change the weight to this left leg and just turn your right foot out 5 or 10 degrees. Change. Now, naturally what should happen is the hips have turned a little bit to this corner, so allow for that. And step forward. Now, what you want to see here is that when I step forward, I didn't cross this way, because that's when hips are tight. When we go forward, the leg gets pulled like this. So you want to keep width and step somewhat forward. And also notice that I didn't turn my foot out at the angle. So the foot is pointing straight ahead, like to the camera, let's say. Now, change your weight into this leg 70%. As you do that, turn from the quad so that you're more angled to the front. And then sit back. Keep this angle to the front relationship forward. 70-30, 100-0. 100, and you can check. You can check when you sit back to say, can I do this? Can I lift this foot? And then go, okay, 70-30, 100-0. 70-30. Feet stay glued to the ground if possible, because again, it's pulling on the relationships. It's opening and closing relationships. It's lengthening and shortening relationships in a soft way. Now, sit back into your back leg, bring this foot back, heels touch, change into this leg, hips turn naturally a little bit to this corner, step. So you want to get good at that step, which is a combination of width and length, but also the toes point straight ahead. And then we shift and align. And then let's do a few back, forward. But remember, primary direction is actually down through this leg, down through this leg. This leg has to, like an accordion, get longer. And then this leg gets shorter, this leg gets longer. And then this leg gets shorter, and this one gets longer. So we're getting this ability to elongate and close. Again, suppleness. I always think of taffy, you know, warm taffy when you get that quality there. Switch again. Step back. Now we're going to add a challenge to our quad. So step. The hips are kind of turned to this corner. So now take your index and thumb and point. And now we shift and turn. So now we're pointed to the front. Now staying in your front leg, see if you can turn just a bit more without junking up this knee. So the quad has to open rather than, let's say, my knee and ankle collapsing. So it's actually this quad that has to open. This one closes more. Now stay a little to this corner and sit back, right? And then I stay back in this leg and turn. Now as I turn my hips and quad that way, this leg wants to collapse in, and I say, no, I don't allow it. So this has to open. And then we shift 70, 30, turn, keep turning, and then sit back, turn, and then forward into that leg and turn. So more real estate. If this hurts your knees, shrink the stance somewhat so that you can work on, and also shrink how far you're trying to even move. You can turn much less, but see if you can do this in a way that challenges the places that are stuck without torquing and jamming and impinging. So that's the art of the practice, is finding just that perfect size of movement, right? Now, bring this foot back and switch sides. So we change. Naturally, the body turns that way to go with this leg. We step, and then it's shift 70, 30, turn and turn a little more. So you're angled to that corner. Stay angled that way, as you sit back. And then turn. Try to not allow this knee to fall in. Keep it aligned. And then shift and turn. Turn even more without letting this knee collapse in. And then shift back and turn. And then shift and turn. And then shift, turn. Shift, turn. Sit back. Now, bring this foot back. Shift, turn the body a little to this corner, step. Now let's do brush knee and push. So your left hand dipped into the water behind your right knee, this hand up and folded. So now when we shift and turn, we brush knee and push. And then we turn and continue, go through this exchange. So now this hand is outside this knee, this hand is up and folds, and we go shift into the back leg and turn. Let the arms flow through, left hand down. So we're back here now. And just remember, before we were moving side to side doing this. Now we're actually advancing forward in space, brush knee, push forward, forward. And then we turn that little extra bit. Arms go through the exchange. And shift, turn, brush, and push. Let the arms go through. Left hand down. Fold. Shift, turn, brush, push. Let them go through one more time. Shift, turn, brush, push. Now we change sides, bring this foot back. Brush, push as you change. Arms go through their little changeroo. Step. Shift. Turn. Brush. Push. Turn a little more to the corner. Change through. Fold. Shift. Turn. Brush. Push. Arms go through their change. And shift, turn, brush, push. Turn to the corner from the quad. And the arms go through and reload. And then this is more like, they call it in Tai Chi, the quality of rollback. So now I'm sort of receiving and rolling off. I'm neutralizing something that's oncoming by going receive and turn. Right? And then this is more like the offensive side of I'm advancing and moving into space. And then this is more receiving, turning off, right? Now we switch each time and just get this little flow. Step, shift, turn, brush, push. As the hands go through the change, step forward, have width and length, and we go shift, turn, brush, push forward. Hands go through this little roll back quality. Side step, feet, heels touch, turn. Step forward, right? So this is a move in the direction of advanced Tai Chi here. Turn to the corner, rolling back, receiving. Heels touch, across. Step, and you shouldn't be advancing in space. So I'm advancing here, but then I'm retreating back to where I was, and then I'm just right where I am. So I haven't moved anywhere in the room, but I've issued all this energy through the body, this forward direction energy, and then this receiving direction energy, and then this turning. And this is just one move. This is just brushing and push done with these different relationships of the body. One more each side. Brush and push. Rolling back, brush and push. Side turning, brush and push, right where you are. Advancing, brush, push. Retreating. Side. Wash your paws. Now, all the chi that's stirred up, it's likely you feel it. You feel some sort of heat, some warmth. That's yang. That's the yang direction. From middle out, expansive, warming. And so then we go wing, roll, fold, and we invite the yinning quality. Now, the yinning is not something, the inward direction. So yang is outward, yin is inward. We don't push it in. We don't even really pull it in. We just stop doing anything. Just stop. Body relaxed. Emotions relaxed. Mind relaxed. Think about napping. I'm sure we've all had a really great nap before. It's just stop all the activity. And that's what Wuji means. So there's Taiji and Wuji. Wuji is no activity. Taiji is polarity, up and down, yin and yang, duality. So we close the practice with Wuji standing, a settling, returning. And then we seal the practice, one hand over the navel, other hand over that knee. This reminder to conserve your chi. Be, work smarter, not harder. Don't grind, don't overdo it. Be clear, be strategic, see what needs to get done, and then apply the energy, right? Rather than overwork. There's a great saying, don't mistake activity for progress. You may have heard it. I think about it very often. So we level set down to Wuji, no activity, so that we can see what the next action could be to get whatever project done in our lives. And then we finally close with this hand position. 1, 2, makes a little yin-yang looking symbol. So eventually you just seal it like that, just this little boop. And thank you so much. All right, make sure you know where your chair is when you go to sit. And if there are any questions, feel free.